What's going on, guys? My name is Dave Fetzer, and welcome to Into the Stands, a podcast for sports fans where we sit down with the people who make sporting events possible. On this show, we're going to talk to athletes, coaches, facilities and operations, media, and more. If there's anyone that you would like to hear from, let me know in the comments or on Twitter at Into the Stands. We appreciate you listening to the show and ask if you enjoy it, please subscribe, rate, and review, because that is how we will get the exposure that we need in order to grow. Thanks again, and let's get into today's episode. Our guest today is a native of Mentor, Ohio, where she was a 3-year letter winner at Mentor High School. As a Cardinal, she was captain of the basketball team, conference first and second team selection, a Greater Cleveland All-Star, and MVP of the News Herald Classic All-Star Game. She averaged 20 points per game her senior season with a 3-point shooting percentage of 47%. From Mentor, she went on to Lake Erie College, where she played in 111 games over her 4 seasons, averaging 32 minutes a game, racking up 266 assists, 568 rebounds, and becoming the team's leading scorer with 1,823 career points. A constant threat from the floor, she had a shooting percentage of .434 with 181 career three-pointers. In her junior season for the Storm, she surpassed the 1,000 career point mark and led the conference in scoring with 19.1 points per game. Once she graduated from college, she went overseas and played in Spain as well as in Mexico. She then got a call that changed the trajectory of her career, a career that would lead to a lot of fun and a lot of wonderful experiences, but not so many wins. In fact, that team that called her has only won one time. That win came in 1971, and they've been trying ever since, managing to not win a single game despite having played almost 19,000 of them. Everyone has heard of the Harlem Globetrotters, with legends and past players such as Sweet Lou Dunbar, Wilt Chamberlain, Meadowlark Lemon, and the first female to play with a professional men's basketball team, Lynette Woodard. It's hard not to know who they are. If you've never been to a Globetrotters game, the high-flying Globetrotters always play against the Washington Generals. With all kinds of antics, tricks, and just all-around hilarity and fun, the Globetrotters always seem to edge out their opponents. So let's get into it and see what motivates her, why she loves what she gets to do, and more about her in general as we step off the court and into the stands with Washington Generals sharpshooter Kayla Gabor. So we're here with Kayla Gabor. Kayla, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Oh, not too bad.
Good.
So we'll just start off from the beginning. When you were in high school, you were pretty successful at Mentor High School. Um, at what point did you think, maybe I can make a career out of playing basketball? Maybe I can actually do something with this. And what were your real basketball goals?
Yeah. So, good question. Growing up, I actually played both soccer and basketball. And it's funny because, like, most of my life, I thought I'd be a pro soccer player. I'm like, yeah, pro soccer player. That's it. But then, as the years went by, both I was always very successful at. I just started to love the sport of basketball more. Um, I love the faster pace and more scoring and more action. And I guess I don't know if there's a turning point necessarily. I feel like just I had the best memories in high school. Through playing, through ups and downs with teammates, just learning life lessons along the way of playing the sport that I absolutely loved. I just always kind of was like, I think I do want to play in college. Get school paid for, why not? And continue to do what I love at a higher level and just keep challenging myself. And luckily, I did have that opportunity, so continue to play after.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So obviously you play with the Globetrotters for the Generals.
Mhm.
Did you ever watch the Globetrotters? Get to go to any games growing up, see them play or anything like that?
Yeah, actually, so when Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse was Quicken Loans, I saw them play there, so I got to see them play in Cleveland. I was probably about 10 when I saw the first game.
Okay.
And then actually another time they came to our high school,
Oh,
to Mentor
nice.
High School. Like Mentor is a pretty big high school. Like we had about 3,500 to 4,000 people. And I
Jeez.
know like occasionally they will go to some larger high schools or smaller colleges or just colleges in general. So yeah, I know they did come out another time to our high school, and I got to see them there. So I did see them twice.
That's awesome. One of them was kind of a more personal
Yep,
appearance then, huh?
for sure. Yep.
So you once you left college, you ended up going to Spain and Mexico, you were saying?
Mhm.
You were over there for a couple of years. And
Yeah.
then where were you at when you initially got like contacted by the organization to try out and like join the team? Were you playing overseas? Were you back home? Like where were you at?
Yeah, so I was actually in Mexico when I heard of the idea being a possibility for the first time. So I was playing there and I had an agent and he mentioned that they had reached out and seen some film on me and were interested. And it was definitely a shock. I'm like, wow, a turn of events, something that, I would never like really imagine. You're seeing and hearing different teams overseas or different teams in Mexico that you've never heard of. Like I could tell you I played for Lobos de Aguas Calientes, but you'd be like, "Who?" Like top
Not a
league
clue.
in Mexico, but you wouldn't know who that is. But then when you hear obviously the world famous Harlem Globetrotters, mostly everybody is like, "Oh yeah, of course I've heard or I've seen them already."
Yeah.
So yeah, when I heard it, it was definitely a shock, but kind of like I don't know, maybe this is gonna happen, maybe not. It's cool, but like I guess we'll wait and see.
And then was there kind of like a sense of like relief or excitement or something when you found out that you actually made the team of, what did that feel like?
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, basically, okay, I returned from Mexico and then I actually got a date for a tryout. So I'm like, okay, this is real. Cause at first
We're
I
getting
couldn't
somewhere now. We're getting there.
yeah, I couldn't believe it was actually something that was gonna happen. I'm like, I wonder how many people like hear of this and how like did they reach me out of all the former overseas players or WNBA players? Like so many people could be reached to have this opportunity. Like why and how did they find me? So got a date for the tryout and I'm like, yeah, I mean, of course I'll attend and see what's going on, see the feelings when I get there and how it goes. And when I went, it went fantastic. I had great feelings from the coaches, the players, just good energy from everybody who took part in that tryout and it went really well. So then obviously, yeah, I ended up making it and for sure on the inside, I was very happy. Nervous because I'm like, "Wow, like, this is actually real." I'm gonna be performing, at major arenas and in front of thousands of people, not just hundreds at my college games or at my overseas games, thousands, and yeah, so and it definitely exciting, but also, I was nervous at the time too.
Yeah, so that kind of leads in perfectly to where I wanted to go next. Like, what
Yeah,
was your reaction going into the first game? Being in the
yeah,
locker room, getting ready. What were you feeling? What was going through your head? Obviously, anybody in that situation is gonna be a little nervous.
yeah,
But I don't know what kind of prep you guys have did before the season. I'm assuming you guys worked together, practiced together, and everything before you started.
yep.
But what was it like going into that first game wearing a Generals jersey?
Yeah. So the first game, definitely a lot of nerves, but I was out there knowing that all the fans who were in the crowd, I mean, were not necessarily rooting for me because obviously I'm the team of the villains, but like they're all out there like looking to see a good performance, looking to see good basketball players do their thing. So I knew going out there, like it was all good energy and I just had to go have fun. Like I couldn't and knowing this in college and playing at high levels overseas as well, like I've kind of gotten past that point when it's game time, it's game time. So yeah, when I went out there, I knew I had good support and I actually that first game we played in Pittsburgh and I actually had a lot of my family there too.
That's awesome.
So having the family support was also more I guess, like, warming.
Yeah,
Luckily, it was close to home. It could have been, anywhere in the world, but luckily it was
absolutely.
first the first couple weeks of tour, actually, we were all around Ohio area, PA. So I did have a lot of friends and family come out to many of the games, which is cool.
Yeah, that works out perfect.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's I mean, that's how we met.
Right. Yeah.
You're playing in Columbus at the Schottenstein Center over at Ohio State, and I was asked to run the scoreboard because I do that for Ohio State, and I'm like, I'm watching you play, I'm like, man, she looks familiar, and I couldn't put my finger on it. And long story short, turns out we have some mutual friends. You went to college with some of my friends from grade school, and I don't know if
Right.
I'd seen you on social media or if you just have a familiar face. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we kind of got to talking, and you were telling me, you guys were still in the very early stages of your, I don't know if you'd call it your North American tour or US tour or whatever
Yep.
wording you guys use. And you were talking how demanding it was. You guys, I think, were in the first 2 weeks of it at that point. Um, what does that schedule really look like as far as games go? What's the demand on the players like, and how are you able to keep that energy? Is it
Yeah.
something that the fans in the arena kind of help renew that energy, or
For sure.
how do you keep that going?
For sure. Yeah, okay, so to start, the first 2 weeks of playing, we played 2 games every day, because we started the day after Christmas, until a little bit after the New Year, and that's, a lot of times that people are off school, off work, so a lot
Yep,
of people can come out, which is why we do that.
absolutely.
Um, so definitely it was, a lot initially, but it was good because it really gave us good experience, like, right off the bat. It just got us into the flow of things, kinda knowing how to balance your work life, 'cause it is job, it is work, but, I mean, for me, like, what gets me through it is it really isn't work to me. It's what I love to do. When I'm home, what I do is work out and go hoop. So now I'm just on the road
Absolutely.
getting paid to work out and hoop. So for me, I would say what gets me through it is, it doesn't feel like work to me. It is truly what I love to do. And also, what just is an icing on the top is the fact that it's an inspiration to so many young athletes, and even whoever comes to watch, not even just the
Yeah,
kids. It's really a whole family show. I love seeing fan reactions after the game and speaking with people and just having good feedback, because that support means everything to me. It's something, when I eventually do retire from playing basketball, on the side when I'm home, when I've been home from playing overseas, I train kids. But now what I do is reach more kids than I ever could imagine, literally, and
yeah.
be that role model. And I'm glad it's me who's able to do it and has had this opportunity, because really it has been a perfect fit for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. You really are kind of like living the dream, and being that you're from the Cleveland area, I think
Yep.
you'll appreciate. I know Oscar Gonzalez he's in the Guardians organization. His walk up song is the SpongeBob theme song, and it's literally just to remind him that he gets to make a living playing a kid's game.
Yeah, I
And I
love
think
it.
it's the same thing with you. It's like you get to you're definitely blessed to be able to do that.
Yep,
Um,
exactly.
so you started out playing in the US, and then
Mhm.
you I'm not even sure really when you found out that you were going to go play over in Europe with the generals.
Yeah.
What was that like? What did was it a shock? Did you expect it, or how did you find out about that?
Yeah, so we started out, in all, like, the Northeast, and, basically, when I found out, I got a call that, like, we were gonna do a European tour, and the first initial tour was, to play for military troops, actually, in Italy and Germany.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it was something that they've done in the past, and I was like, "Wow, very good opportunity," and the fact that they asked me to go over there and play with the team and do the same thing, but now perform for the troops overseas was great because, we're bringing a sense of home to them when they're away from home
For sure.
and able to just kind of like bring joy and smiles to their faces. So yeah, we ended up going to Italy, Germany, France. We were there for about a month on tour, and we were in Austria, Belgium, the UK. In the UK, it was Scotland, Wales, England, and then went out to Spain to finish the tour.
So as far as like crowds and stuff go,
Mm,
obviously, the Globetrotters are huge here in the States. Are
yeah,
they as big overseas? I have no idea what their presence is,
yeah.
outside of the US.
Actually bigger.
Really?
Yeah, it was phenomenal fan support overseas.
That's incredible.
I was very impressed, very satisfied because the energy and the atmosphere, we were selling out games everywhere that we went. I would say, I mean, I don't want to say the lowest was 7,000, but we had up to 17,500, and that was in
That's
Madrid.
incredible.
That arena was fantastic. And then in Valencia and in Barcelona, we had 10 to 12,000. Some of the arenas, I think, like when we played in Palma de Mallorca, it was a little smaller of an arena, but sold it out.
Okay.
So really
Yeah.
everywhere we were going, it was pretty cool because internationally, I mean, this is a world famous team. They were looking at us just like,
Yeah.
oh, treating us as if we were NBA players is what I
That's
felt
so
like.
cool.
So it was very cool. We had great support, great support overseas. And I mean here, domestically we get great support too, but
Yeah.
the energy, in my opinion, was bigger and better
That's so
overseas.
cool. That's
Yeah.
so cool. So like while you were over there, did you have any really like kind of wow moments that stand out to you? Obviously, you mentioned selling out games and stuff. Was there anybody that you met, even, and this could even go while you're here in the States?
Yeah.
Anybody you met, places you saw, or anything that you did or anywhere you went that really stands out to you and you're like, dang, I'd love to be able to go back to that moment and relive that.
Yeah. Well, people I met, so I did get to take a picture with Queen Latifah in Brooklyn. So,
That's awesome.
so that was pretty
That's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah, that was dope. Um, and we saw so many places, like places that I never would have desired to go see unless I was in the area. Like I got to see the Basketball Hall of Fame in Massachusetts, and I got to see the Arch in St. Louis, Missouri. Like something I wouldn't typically drive out to go see, but I was able to do it because
Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah.
So domestically, there were a lot of different cities that I got to explore, but I would say internationally were the best memories just because, I got to see the Eiffel Tower, I got to go ride a gondola in Venice, I got to
Oh, that's
see the
amazing.
statue of David in Florence, I got
That's
to
amazing.
go to so many cathedrals when I was in France. Like I didn't necessarily know the significance of every cathedral, but I got to see a lot of cathedrals. And yeah, it was just I don't know. Like I guess have you been overseas before?
I haven't. I
Really?
have a list of places I wanna
Yeah.
go, but I have not been. Um,
Really? Yeah.
so yeah. I was living vicariously through the Instagram stories, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh
I
my
was
goodness. Oh my goodness. Yeah, for me it was just cool. So when we were at the military tour, we were on military bases, which was neat to kind of see a difference in their living situation and food
Yeah.
situation and grocery stores and like just like their weight rooms cuz on tour like we also have to find time to get our workouts in and do everything while staying healthy so we could perform because we
Yeah.
typically play every day. Like here and there we do have days off, but it is a very uh busy tour, I guess.
Yeah.
So that was cool just to, be on the different military bases. But then when we did head out to France, we were in with the public. So now we are, just able to go in the streets of France, just the
Hmm.
streets of Spain, and just kind of see what it is living in this area. And
Yeah.
most of the times, what I did to take advantage is when we got to different cities, I'd do my workout was like running a mile or two, and I'd run through the cities just to kind of go explore, go see like different stores around, different streets, different areas. And I, because we do play in mainly the main cities, I'd go see the cathedral there, or I'd go see whatever monument or cool thing that they are known for
Kind of a
while I
two
was
birds, one
there.
stone deal.
Yeah.
Kind of nice. Um, so yeah, um, that's awesome. So the like the military bases, do they then have like I'm assuming they have basketball courts and
Yeah.
stuff set up for the guys that are over there. Do they have like seating and stuff around them, or like how did that look?
So the military bases were smaller because the gyms that we played at were gyms for actually the high school, the
Oh,
kids,
okay.
the children of the military. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, of the actual military, like okay,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So
gotcha.
basically, those were a little bit like, well, not a little bit,
A
much
lot.
smaller than,
Yeah,
okay, we got to play at the O2 in
yeah,
London, like some of the grand arenas that we
that's
played in.
awesome.
But yeah, so those ones were all sold out because of the demand. Everybody did want to come see the show, but not necessarily was there, unfortunately, enough seating for everybody. Um, so yeah, the military bases were mainly those high school gyms.
That's awesome. So it's kind of one of those things where it's unfortunate. We got the Women's World Cup going on right now, down in New
Mhm.
Zealand, and it's starting to get better. But women's sports, not only in the U.S. but also internationally, it's a difficult undertaking. If we're being honest, WNBA versus NBA, there's a lot of controversy there going on. There's a lot of stuff going on right now in women's hockey. I don't know if you follow hockey at all, but there's some stuff going on in women's hockey here in North America. What does it mean to you to be the second ever female to play for the Generals? And what do you think it means to the young girls who come to see you play? And if you for all the girls out there who watched you both domestically and internationally, who watched you and dream of being in your shoes somewhat someday, like, what do you have to say to them to keep them kind of encouraged and
Yeah.
keep their head up?
Yeah. Well, to be the second ever Washington General is a blessing. Absolute blessing. It's something that, like I said earlier on, like, why me? But I don't question it. I feel like everything happens for a reason, and I'm
Absolutely.
so fortunate that it was me who was asked and given this opportunity. So I'm following actually Nancy Lieberman. She was the first in 1987, I believe it was.
Okay, you got your
And
history down.
yeah, yeah, I do know some about her because, like, she's somebody who I searched, and I really hope one day I can meet, because I know she's just like an icon in basketball now. Like, she's made her mark. She announces for the Oklahoma City Thunder, actually, and she even
Oh, that's
coached.
awesome.
Yeah, she was even an assistant in the NBA as a coach, and she played with men professionally
Yeah,
prior to playing in the WNBA, and then she played with the Generals. So she has a very solid basketball history, lots of success, and it's just something when, okay, you're asking, okay, what I would tell some younger girls what they want to do, or not even younger girls, girls my age as well, because
yeah,
I like to look at what other people are doing and aim for as high as possible. Shoot for the stars. Like, there's no limit. Just set high goals for yourself. Now when I see somebody like Nancy Lieberman, I'm just like, wow, that's a goal to set. Like, I'm where I'm
absolutely.
at, like, and I've risen and risen, but I know there's more. Like,
Yeah,
there, don't settle for less. Keep knowing your worth, and keep knowing that you could strive for greatness. And if you want it bad enough, if you train, like for example, for me, it comes to me because it's something I love. Like nobody tells me go do this, go lift, go shoot, go do cardio. Like they're all things that I love to do because I know I have certain expectations of myself and I set
Hmm.
certain goals for next season, for the next
Yeah,
season. And I just know that if the like for the younger generation or for people who've watched me play, if you keep doing that, what's meant to be for you will come your way. Like it's going to fall in your pathway and you just have to carve your path. You just have to keep being consistent and keep putting in that work and make it happen.
absolutely.
Um, yeah, yeah.
I
So
mean, hey,
for me,
you grew up a Cavs fan, right?
yeah, I did. Yep,
So the whole LeBron, nothing is given, everything is earned. It just kind
yeah.
of all fits together.
Seriously, yeah, definitely. Was awesome watching him growing up as
Oh
well.
yeah. Yep. Yep. All right. So my background in podcasts and media and stuff is hockey. So we have to have a little bit of a hockey reference in here somewhere. So
Okay,
at the end of the podcast, we like to ask a couple questions. It's the same questions for everybody, and we call them the power play questions. So
okay,
first is, what is your favorite sports venue that you have been to? Not necessarily played in, but been to.
okay. Been to, I would say the O2 in London.
Okay.
Only because it's such a big venue and arena, and it was so cool knowing that I was playing where so many top artists and performers and elite athletes have been
Absolutely.
performing. So I was like, wow, it felt really cool to just kind of see like when in the world would I ever think I'd be able to be there? And I remember like I did it before every game, just kind of right before the game, the trotters would get the fans going and everybody in the arena would put their hands up in the air and just do a chant and like bounce them up and
That's
down.
so
And I
cool.
before every game, I just kind of look around the whole arena and just when you said that wow moment, I did it every
That's
day. Like
awesome.
wow, like I'm standing here about to perform in front of all these people. So that was definitely something super cool. And I'd say the O2 just because the background of that arena
Yeah.
and all the elite people who have been there performing.
Oh, absolutely. So I'm assuming that one is also the favorite venue that you've played in as well, or do you have a different one for that?
um So I want to say I do have a different one. I would actually maybe say Madrid only because we played at the Whizzing Center in Madrid because that was the largest capacity of people who came. We had
Okay.
17,500 people at that one.
That's awesome.
And I think that would have to be my favorite because of that and the energy in that arena. Um, and that was just one of those games that I couldn't miss if I tried.
Absolutely.
So
That's awesome.
it was just like a good memory that'll stick with me for forever.
That's so cool. So, like you said, you growing up, you played basketball, you played soccer in high school,
Mhm.
um, to where you are now. What's your best sports memory? Is there a specific game in high school or in college or something that stuck out to you, whether it was basketball, whether it was soccer, or even if it's, going to a Cavs game or a Guardians game with somebody, is there one that kind of sticks
Yeah.
out to you?
Um, so if I could say, for like current out of everything, I would say that Madrid game.
Absolutely.
Only because, like I said, it just came down to the part that I was letting it fly, and I was already turning around like the
Just
Steph
new.
Curry no look, like already like clapping my teammates' hands. So that was definitely just a good memory, like that I won't forget. Um, and maybe I guess like in the past, like more so like college, high school. I don't know if there's a specific game. I would just like have to say the memories all throughout, like playing in AAU or playing tournaments or just like continuing to like grow with your team
Absolutely.
and like learn was just just a journey and a process and the whole thing as a whole, just looking back on it, I just feel very fortunate that I was able to do all this stuff with my teams and get my seriously my absolute best friends of life come through sports. Like not just basketball, through soccer, through basketball, people that I stay in touch with every day, or even here and there. We just have so much history playing together that we have that bond for life.
Absolutely. All right, last one. If you could
Yeah.
attend one sporting event, Super Bowl, NBA championships, anything like that,
Mhm.
World Cup, what would it be?
Definitely NBA finals.
Finals. Okay.
Yeah, I think that'd be awesome. That'd be epic to go
Oh
to
yeah.
for
Nice
sure.
little
Yeah.
some little game 7 action, That's
Literally, yep. I've seen it outside the arena when the Cavs
Yeah.
were playing, but like they had all those watch parties, and I
Yep.
was at every one of them. But if I could actually have been in the arena watching that final game, would have been
Oh, totally different.
insane. Oh
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I have a couple of my friends are season ticket holders with the Blue Jackets down here, and they still
Hmm.
talk about a couple years ago when the Jackets swept the Lightning, and they said, it was the loudest that it ever been in the arena.
Oh
I don't know if
yeah.
you've ever been to a Blue Jackets game. They have a cannon that goes off after they score. They said you couldn't even hear the cannon. Like
No
they said
way.
it
Oh my
was the
gosh.
loudest that they've
No
ever heard.
way. That's
Um,
crazy. That's
so
awesome.
yeah. But yeah, so that's all those questions. Yeah, so thank you so much for your time.
Yeah,
Seriously,
appreciate you.
congratulations on everything you've done. Getting to play for the Generals is a huge deal. Just everything else you've done in your basketball career, being able to play, around the world, see the people you've gotten to see and have those experiences. I'd love to talk to you again once you get a couple seasons under your belt with the Generals and see where you're progressing. Maybe you'll get a little bit closer to Nancy there. Um,
Yeah, for sure.
and right now, this is your time. If there's anybody that you want to say hi to or thank you to, now's your time to do it.
Like, thanks to all like my friends, family, and all this fan support like through this whole journey. That's what keeps me going, keeps has got me to where I've gotten, and I'm very fortunate for it, and I just want to say thanks. Thanks to all the people who've got me where I've made it.
Awesome. Well, on behalf of them, you're welcome.
Yeah,
It's been
yeah.
great talking to you. I really appreciate your time, and hopefully we can talk to you soon. And I look forward to seeing what you're able to do moving forward.
All right, thanks so much.
No problem. Hey guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me on another episode of Into the Stands, the podcast where I unravel the fascinating tales of sports and entertainment personalities. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to subscribe, rate, and leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. A big shout out to our friends over at Around the Fifth Line. It's a Blue Jackets based debate show that you can catch on YouTube as well as on all podcast platforms. If you're craving in depth discussions about the game, they've got you covered. And for the latest hockey news and news focused on the Blue Jackets, head over to thn.com/Columbus, home of the Hockey News Columbus, with articles written by Jason Newland. Stay in the loop with the freshest insights and updates. Follow Jason on Twitter at F1RETheCannon for even more hockey goodness. Connect with us on social media. Follow me personally at The Scoreboard Guy, SCRBRD, and at Into the Stands for the latest on upcoming guests and exclusive behind-the-scenes content. We love hearing from our community, so drop us a message and suggest guests for future episodes. As we wrap up today's show, let's remember the wise words of both Wayne Gretzky and Michael Scott. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Until next time, this has been The Scoreboard Guy. Dave Fetzer, thank you for listening.